Coming up next on this special music edition of Arizona Horizon, learn about the Arizona-born songwriter who wrote the iconic Ghost Riders in the Sky. And a local jazz center named after a Phoenix native celebrates an anniversary. Those stories next on this special edition of Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to this special music edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Ghost Riders in the Sky, a cowboy legend, is a well-known American song made popular by a number of performers, including Vaughn Monroe, who had a big hit with the song in 1949.
That old cowboy went riding out one dark and windy day. Upon a ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw plowing through the ragged sky and up a cloudy draw. The Ghost Riders in the Sky.
That iconic song was written by Arizona native Stan Jones, who had quite a life in and out of show business. That life is chronicled in a new biography written by Tucson writer Michael Ward, who recently spoke to us about the book. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ted. Appreciate it.
Who was Stan Jones?
Stan Jones was born in Douglas in 1914, and he grew up. His father, Stan, was not a planned arrival, and his father had abandoned the family before Stan was born. So his mom struggled to raise him in what was a pretty shaky economy after the World War I was over and the copper boom kind of quit in Douglas. But Stan grew up in Douglas for most of his adolescence and spent a lot of time on the cattle ranches east of Douglas. He and his buddies would round up burros, stray burros that were there, and they would hop out there. And a good friend of his had a grandfather that owned a cattle ranch. So this is where Stan got much of the inspiration for the songs that he wrote later as an adult.
And he was moved to L.A. apparently. Your book, rodeo rider, joined the Navy, a miner, a firefighter, and eventually a park ranger.
A National Park Service ranger. He wrote the song in Death Valley when he was a park ranger. He had a wonderful old stone ranger station that was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps, Immigrant Ranger Station. And his widow, Olive, bless her heart, who just turned 96 and is still with us.
Oh my goodness.
Told me that he wrote it on 10 minutes on a Sunday morning.
So I was going to ask you, was he just staring at the sky? Was it a beautiful day, a cloudy day? At Death Valley, it's got to be a hot day.
We don't know exactly what day it was, and of course the story is that the clouds were there and reminded him. But he just had that image branded into his imagination from when he was about 10 years old. There was an old cowboy named Cap Watts that befriended Stan when he was spending his time out on the ranches east of Douglas. And Cap Watts was born during the Civil War, and he was a real McCoy. He had cowboyed across the West and had carried this legend with him. There's a couple stories about where that legend actually came from, but he imprinted that into Stan's imagination, supposedly when there was a really violent thunderstorm and they were working on a windmill together, and Cap told Stan that there were riders, cowboys up there that were going to round up the clouds and staunch the rain, but that stayed with him. So he took that, and the genius of this song is that it's very biographical, because when Stan was sitting on that ranger station for the first time in his life, he was probably as settled and as happy as he had ever been. He was kind of a rake and rambling boy during the Depression. As you mentioned, he went from job to job. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of failed marriages, kids. He really struggled throughout his adolescence.
And yet he wrote songs all the while. It wasn't like he just sat out there and all of a sudden decided to write a song.
It's really hard to pin down. I was amazed I found anything from that Depression period, because there's many members of his family that had no idea where Stan was during those years. But he met Olive in Bend, Oregon, and they were married in 1944, and she remained his partner for the rest of her life. So when he wrote that song, he made it a tale of redemption, essentially, almost like a biblical kind of parallel, parable. Cowboy, change your ways today. And so that's exactly what Stan had experienced. And so he took that Ghost Riders image, he took that life lesson, combined them, and made created and composed a very, very powerful song.
And a powerful song. How quickly was this song? I mean, obviously it changed his life. How quickly did it change his life?
Well, it's interesting because when Vaughn Monroe version first came out, Burl Ives recorded it first, but he recorded it just on 12-string guitar, and it was popular, but nothing like the Vaughn Monroe version that came out in April of 1949. Stan's communications weren't instantaneous between Death Valley and Hollywood.
Sure.
But Stan got notice that there was a royalty check waiting for him in L.A. In 1949, his first check was $100,000.
Oh my goodness.
So of course, what's a red-blooded American Arizona boy do? He bought a brand new Oldsmobile, drove back to Death Valley, but he was still a park ranger and wanted to remain a park ranger. He loved his job as a ranger.
So he was settled to the point, when you said he was settled enough to know that the $100,000, is maybe some more is going to come, but he was still happy in his life.
Yes, there was no guarantees that the Ghost Riders was going to carry him forward. And here he was for the first time in his life. He had working for the government, working outdoors, had a job he loved, he had all the attendant government benefits, and he didn't want to just throw all that to the wind because he couldn't see down the road. But it became clear, he asked for a year's leave of absence, but he and the superintendent didn't get along because he wanted Stan to shoot burros, and Stan wouldn't do that because he loved burros from his youth.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the superintendent just wanted to get rid of Stan because people were starting to flock into Death Valley. They wanted to meet the singing ranger, and they wanted to meet Stan Jones, and it just came to a head, and Stan finally had to retire. And eventually, it was very clear that they were going to coast for quite a while just on the royalties alone from the song.
But he did wind up going to Hollywood, worked on some John Ford films, and
Yes.
wound up being an actor.
Yes, and Stan himself was his best objective critic. He goes, "I'm no actor, and I have the film to prove it." The problem was, he was a happy little guy. Johnny Western, his friend, really excellent friend, said that Stan always had that little kid gleam in his eye, and he always had that whenever he was on screen. If you find anything that he did, he was on the Spin and Marty show. He was on Sheriff of Cochise, which was a serial Western. He always had. He looked like he was always smiling inside.
Yeah, yeah.
And as an actor, you want to look sad or cry every now and again. Stan just couldn't do it.
And he wound up dying young at the age of 49. What happened there?
He had cancer issues.
Oh my goodness. Was he a heavy smoker?
He was a heavy smoker, but he had some melanoma issues also back then.
From being outdoors all the time.
From being outdoors all the time. And it was interesting because his good friend Dobie Carey told me that Stan had a premonition that he wasn't going to be around much beyond the age of 50. And he told them that many years before, and it proved to be true.
Isn't that interesting? Why did you write this book? What about, has anyone written about Stan Jones?
Well, that surprised me because this started as, I lived in Death Valley for about 15 years before I moved to Tucson. And I wanted to write a piece for a Death Valley History Conference on Stan Jones and his life as a ranger in Death Valley. And I started doing a little research, and there was essentially nothing written about him. It really surprised me.
Yeah.
There was nothing known. And I found out that his widow, Olive, bless her heart, was alive and agreed to sit with me and tell me about their years in Death Valley together, which led to many little avenues about what Stan was up to, because there was nothing. People in his family didn't know what he was up to. I really don't know. The first eyewitness account of him actually playing and singing guitar is from a fellow who knew him in Mount Rainier, where his first Park Service Ranger job, and that was 1945.
Wow.
So I don't know when he learned to play the guitar or how long he had been playing the guitar.
And there's that guitar too, huh?
And what's really interesting, this is a 4-string tenor guitar.
Oh.
I don't think too many people know that one of the great songs of the 20th century was written on what is essentially an oversized ukulele.
Yeah.
It was designed from a tenor banjos in the 1920s. And the strings, you could either tune it like a tenor banjo, or you could tune it the first 4 strings guitar of a guitar, standard guitar, which is what Stan did. And that was his guitar of choice, and that was a gift from Olive. And so I'm guessing that once Olive gave him this gift, because she knew he was trying to write cowboy stories, he was writing songs, and this was a gift from her saying, I really support you, Stan. I really want you to carry this through.
Have you had much reaction to the book? What are you hearing from folks?
I'm getting some really wonderful responses from people. It's such an interesting. It's a classic American rags to riches story.
Yeah.
It was so interesting. He's kind of saddled with the Ghost Riders in the sky thing. I mean, it's his stairway to heaven. I mean, it's like that's the one that. But he was a prolific, creative writer all the way through to the end of his life. He wrote songs for the Walt Disney Company, for films, you know, especially John Ford. He wrote the theme song for the Searchers, which is widely known as John Ford's greatest Western.
Yes.
And he wrote the theme song for the Spin and Marty Show, which was the #1 children's song in 1957. He wrote a great cowboy gospel song called Saddle Up. He kept writing good songs, and he was a very, very interesting guy. And I'm really, it's odd. I think it was the Death Valley connection for me, the fact I lived there so long. When I was there, I started writing songs when I was in Death Valley. I went to work for the National Park Service. Stan works for the National Park Service. And then I moved to Tucson, and Stan was from southern Arizona. So there's just all these different currents where we just kind of seem to intersect. And here's the book.
Well, congratulations on the book. Good job and a good read. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ted. I appreciate it.
Next, we take a look at a downtown Phoenix jazz club that recently celebrated its 2nd anniversary. The club is called The Nash, and it's named after Phoenix native Louis Nash, who was deemed the most valuable player in jazz by Modern Drummer magazine. Nash returned to Phoenix to perform for the 2nd anniversary of the club that bears his name. Just prior to that appearance, we spoke with Louis Nash, as well as Joel Goldenthal, the executive director of Jazz in Arizona, a local nonprofit that owns and operates the Nash. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
I got to tell you, if there were a club named the Ted, I'd be impossible to live with. What's it like to have a club named after you?
I'll tell you, it's a great honor, and I feel so elated, I guess would be the word, tickled, and of course honored, as I said at first, to be deemed the person to name this fantastic venue after, and being someone who's born and raised here in Phoenix, it's a doubly special honor.
And I want to get to your background here in Phoenix in a second here, but as far as jazz in Arizona, as far as the Nash is concerned, talk to us about how all this got started.
Well, Jazz in Arizona has been around for 37 years, and it's always promoted live jazz music and education. But as with most jazz enterprises in the country, we were kind of sliding and not attracting young people, which is really what it's all about, is the next generation of jazz musicians. So we got this idea a couple of years, 3 years ago. A former board member of mine, and we went out to coffee. He said, I'd like to open a jazz club at downtown Phoenix for the purpose of giving young musicians a place to perform and attracting a young jazz audience. So we put the idea together with Jazz and Az, and we had a lot of meetings with young people and found out what they would want. And when we opened the doors, they came.
And so are there educational classes and workshops and these sorts of things going on?
Yeah, we have, this summer we had 12 programs going on, and we have master classes and lessons throughout the year. And the top jazz musicians and educators throughout the valley come and teach at the Nash.
Now, what got you started in Phoenix native? I mean, you actually are a Phoenix native.
That's right.
What got you started in jazz, and can you use some of that experience in helping the folks at Jazz and Az get that kind of background at the Nash?
Absolutely, because I can reflect back to when I was young and the things that interested me and what got me into the door, so to speak. And I was in high school. I went to East Phoenix High School, and I joined what in those days was called the stage band. They didn't really call it the jazz band in those days. But that was my first taste of any kind of organized jazz performance situation. It was in high school.
But before that, was it something about jazz? Some kids go to rock music, some kids go to classical music, some you can go all sorts of different directions. Why jazz for you?
Well, growing up, I heard mostly gospel, rhythm and blues, and those musics are have the same roots as jazz. I mean, they're really come from the same tree. And so when I heard jazz and started to become interested in it, what really attracted me was the fact that you could be more creative and express yourself in a different way than you could in the other forms. And so that, for me, was the draw, that I could be a little bit more expressive.
And as far as drums are concerned, I mean, you could have played sax, you could have played bass, you could have done all. Why drums?
That's one I don't know if I can answer, but my siblings and parents always told me that from a very young age they knew that's what I wanted to do, because I'd get my mother's pots and pans out of the kitchen and surround myself with them on the floor, and get knives and forks, or if I was outside I'd get a tree branch and break it and put cardboard boxes around me. So they knew.
They knew, but when did you know this was more than just a hobby, this was more than just an interest, and when did you know, I'm pretty good at this?
Well, the funny thing is I went to, after high school, I went to Arizona State University as a broadcast journalism major.
Interesting.
And I wanted to follow in the footsteps of Walter Cronkite, and actually I saw the door open when I saw Max Robinson on ABC News back in those days. He was the first African-American anchor, in I believe, in the United States on network TV. And I said, well, the door's open. I think I might want to do this. So that's what I went to school intending to do. But I'd been playing music all those years. And one day someone stopped me in the hall and said, Louis, you're not a music major, are you? And I said, no. He said, and you don't plan on going into music as a career? And I said, no. And he said, I think you're making a mistake.
Interesting. Isn't that something? Mentors they're out there, aren't
yeah,
they? They are. Yeah. And you take that experience and you move it now over to the Nash. When young people are showing up there for the classes, for the instruction, just to see a show, what do you want them to experience? What do you want them to see and feel?
Well, I'm convinced that there's a jazz gene, and it's just a matter of exposure. It's all about exposure. So the number one thing to do is expose people to the music. So there are people who don't think they like jazz, and then they come into a jazz venue and hear jazz, and they love it. So basically, want them to experience the music, and in this day and age where individual expression is the most important thing. And this is the music that gives you that freedom. So that's what I want people to see.
And I was going to ask, because we have classical artists on the show all the time, and I try to tell them, sometimes folks are intimidated. They go to an opera, they go to a class, they don't know what they're listening for, and people around them seem to be getting it. When you go to a jazz club, when you go to the Nash, and you see Louis Nash, or you see other nationally known performers, even local, what do you listen for? What is jazz?
Well, you answer what jazz is.
Even Louis Armstrong didn't want to try to answer that. So I won't attempt to, but I will say this, that when you're in an environment where you feel that you don't really understand what's going on, sometimes the best thing to do is just experience it in the most visceral way, and just feel it, and don't attempt to try to understand what's going on. I mean, when we watch a movie, we don't know all of the acting techniques that go into making a great actor, but we can experience it, the movie or the film for its aesthetic value. So I think it's a mistake to attempt to understand everything in the beginning.
It's a very visceral art form. It's been overly intellectualized, and people think that they have to have an intellectual understanding. That's not the case. You like what you hear, and it feels good, and that's the bottom line.
So when you see Louis up there doing with the brushes and doing all these things, he's probably doing things that other drummers are going, oh yeah, oh I understand, oh that's fantastic. I don't need to know that. All I need to see is the movement, the pattern, the rhythm, the timing.
All you need to be is amazed, is what
yeah.
you be.
Yeah, because we've had poets on the show, and
Sure.
they say, don't try to understand it.
Right.
Read the poet, speak the poem out loud, let it happen to you, and if it happens further, great. If it doesn't, move on.
I agree.
So that makes sense then?
Yes, it
Absolutely.
does.
Okay, so talk to us. You don't live in Phoenix anymore, do you?
No, I've been in New York since 1980, 81.
You get back much?
All the time, as much as I can. I love the desert.
And what it's, as far as living in New, I mean, it must be fantastic. You work with all sorts of. You have your own band. You have your own.
Yes, I do.
And it must be fantastic.
It's
back
incredible. I can't even tell you. It's the dream come true that I didn't even know I was dreaming.
there. Yeah. and do you keep in touch with any high school kids? Any high
Yes,
school?
many of my high school classmates have come. Some have come to the Nash. Some have been at other events I've been involved with here. And of course, my family's still here.
No, the family must be.
Siblings and my parents. My father just passed away earlier this year, but my mom's still here. I have a grandmother who's 101. So
Oh, my goodness.
I have lots of reasons to come back.
They must be awfully proud of you.
Of course.
I'll bet they are. Yeah. And as far as now the second anniversary of the Nash, what's going to go? I'm assuming this gentleman over here will be a major part of it.
Well, yeah, yes, he will be. We have 4 major events going on. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, there's a master class given by Barry Harris, who is a world-renowned pianist, an NEA jazz master, and he's literally the father of the jazz master class. His technique is emulated worldwide. Then on Saturday, Friday night, Corey Weed's quartet with Louis Nash on drums. Corey's a wonderful saxophone player from Vancouver who's coming down. Peter Washington on bass. So that'll be at the Nash tomorrow night. Saturday is an in-home concert, private concert with the Barry Harris Trio. There'll be Barry Harris, Louis Nash, and Peter Washington. And Sunday at the Nash, there are 2 concerts, 6 and 8 o'clock, to which we're adding Jimmy Heath, another NEA jazz master. These 2 guys are legends.
Wow, that's a busy crowd going over there.
It's a busy crowd, and I'm proud of Phoenix, the turnout we're getting. We're going to be packed.
And real quickly, are there many Nashes around the country right now, or is this almost unique?
Well, I would venture to say there's nothing exactly like this, but there are folks around the country who are attempting to do similar things in terms of educating young people and having venues where they can play, and masters like he mentioned, Jimmy Heath and Barry Harris can come and do master classes and interact with them. So there are others who are doing similar things.
Well, congratulations on the club's success, and good luck in the
Thank you.
future. And congratulations on your success. You're a Longhorn. Was that the
That's right.
Longhorn?
That's exactly
I remember
right.
that. Good to have you here.
Thank you very kindly.
And that is it for now. Thank you so much for joining us on this special music edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.